You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
I feel funny. Is this real life?
Yes, this is real life.
I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me.
Don't touch your stitches, Justin. Bieber, don't touch your stitches.
What's happening?
No. Bieber, stop.
You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers. I have 3 fingers. Is this gonna last forever?
Justin, stop it.
Ah!
Yeah, you pressing Bieber?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? Like I'm calling you and answering.
Yeah, that was low.
That was weird,
That was crazy.
That was weird. They did not run through Bieber.
There was. Why you not answering your phone like yo?
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we become friends in a strange way, you know.
Like Robin Big.
Yeah. It's like exactly.
I'm begging you, Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person. Besides his talent, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Justin, you know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
For years, many warning signs within the entertainment industry were treated as little more than background noise. Uncomfortable moments were brushed aside with laughter, questionable incidents were dismissed as harmless jokes, and disturbing footage often became viral entertainment instead of prompting serious reflection. Meanwhile, deeper concerns remained largely overlooked, receiving far less attention than many believed they deserved. Now, with 50 Cent's documentary revisiting stories from the past, overlooked moments are being viewed through a different lens, and long-forgotten allegations have returned to public discussion. At the center of the conversation are Diddy, the influential music executive whose reach extended across the industry, and Justin Bieber, a young artist who entered that environment long before he was fully equipped to handle its pressures. This is not simply a story about internet speculation or viral headlines. It is a broader conversation about power, silence, and the uncomfortable possibility that serious concerns can remain buried for years when too many people choose to look the other way.
Now, when we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. When he signed to Usher, I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
For years, 50 Cent presented himself as someone who stayed outside Sean Diddy, Combs' inner circle. He frequently implied that he had seen parts of that world firsthand, but had deliberately chosen not to become part of it. At the time, many people dismissed his remarks as nothing more than another chapter in a long-running personal feud, rather than something deserving of closer attention. Now, as legal proceedings continue and public opinion continues to shift, those same comments are being reconsidered from a different perspective, prompting many to look again at both what was said and when it was said. None of this confirms every allegation, but it does demonstrate that warnings can sometimes emerge long before official investigations or legal evidence capture widespread public attention. It also underscores an uncomfortable reality. Criticism is often easiest to dismiss when it comes from someone people would rather ignore. That leaves one lingering question: how many early warning signs go unnoticed simply because the person raising them makes others uncomfortable?
Look at Usher. What Usher say? I seen some things I shouldn't have been seeing at that age. What does that tell you? That he's seen some things, he was around some things when he was young that he shouldn't have been at a Diddy party. So that's going to show you that there are certain things that are happening that's going on that here it is, this kid was saying he shouldn't even seen it and been around it himself. So all the other celebrities who saw it and they stand quiet about it, ain't that in our culture? No snitching. And I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know.
Justin Bieber's journey to stardom was celebrated as one of the greatest modern success stories. Yet behind the worldwide recognition was a far more complicated reality, a young artist finding his way through powerful adult circles with limited meaningful protection. Looking back, old videos and past interviews are now being viewed through a different lens, highlighting how Bieber was introduced to environments where influence, status, and exclusive access often appeared to carry greater weight than healthy boundaries. Much of it took place in full public view, yet many people dismissed those moments as routine celebrity culture instead of asking whether they reflected something more concerning. This is not about one isolated incident. It is about a broader pattern of normalization, an industry that too often looked the other way, and the consequences that can follow when youth becomes the price of opportunity. That leaves one unavoidable question: who should ultimately be held accountable for the cost that was paid?
He dropped the song. It went over our heads.
Which
it's actually
video?
about Diddy this whole time.
Which video?
The song Lonely.
Let me see.
Everybody knows my best. I'm so with me to play. Maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age.
He even came out and said stuff about how when he was younger, he was being taken advantage of, which is true. The problem was being a victim of the diddler. What happens? Because he has so much dirt on you, if you go out into the public, he may have videos, he may have embarrassing things, he might even have incriminating footage of you doing things that you were forced to under the influence to do.
Diddy's influence reached well beyond the music industry, helping determine who gained access to the spaces where careers could be accelerated, shaped, or quietly held back. Justin Bieber's connection to that world reflected a much broader industry reality, one in which opportunities were often influenced by powerful gatekeepers and exclusive private circles rather than transparent systems built on accountability, fairness, and meaningful oversight.
Guys, the leaked video of Justin Bieber partying with P. Diddy has just emerged, and it looks horrifying. Bieber was not in his right state of mind. Here's the video.
Oh, he's bad boy now.
Look at that. Whoa, look at that.
Here's your icon alert.
Look at that.
It's called.
Does that look normal to you guys? What's going on here? He gets down on his knees, starts drinking. Diddy right there. Look at his eyes.
The deeper issue extends beyond what may or may not have happened behind closed doors, and instead examines why accountability can erode in a system where success is closely tied to proximity to power. When opportunity is controlled by access, personal boundaries can gradually become blurred. Exercising caution is sometimes perceived as a sign of weakness, while protecting oneself may be treated as an obstacle rather than a necessary safeguard. In an environment like that, the central struggle becomes one of control. Who is genuinely free to say no, and who ultimately bears the cost of having the courage to do so.
I'm tired of Usher. I wish somebody would come out and just like sue him. Like, we need Usher. No, we do. We need a victim to come out and be honest about him. Because what I'm realizing is that he's going to fake the funk into the victim, man. He's just going to keep on sucking the devil's. And I don't know, you know, like with a baby, that pacifier, sometimes you gotta pull it out. You know what I'm saying? And take it away, right? When the babies used to sucking on the pacifier, that motherfucker gonna keep sucking on that shit until you do what? Till you take it out the mouth. Now it's gonna scream and holler, but eventually it will get used to the fact that his mouth is no longer full with that object. And that it's time to just, you know, learn how to live without it. He been sucking on Diddy's dick a long time. It's time for him to learn how to make this thing happen without the devil's dick in his mouth or ass.
Oh, you don't think if he sued, he'll just Lil Woody the situation? And I don't recall. I don't recall.
No, because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Long before Justin Bieber rose to global superstardom, Usher spoke openly about becoming part of Diddy's circle as a teenager and later reflected on being introduced to adult environments at an unusually young age. That history continues to draw attention because it raises broader questions about recurring industry dynamics rather than focusing on a single isolated experience. When similar accounts emerge across different generations, they invite a closer look at whether deeper structural issues may have existed within the industry. Influence and opportunity continue to move through many of the same powerful networks, while meaningful reforms often appeared slow to develop. If these concerns had already been recognized years earlier, one difficult question still remains. Why were stronger safeguards not established before another young artist entered a similar environment?
And that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
No.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there, but you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you.
As public scrutiny surrounding Diddy continued to grow, many former associates became noticeably more reserved, while 50 Cent became even more vocal, pointing to what some describe as an unspoken code within the entertainment industry. Speaking openly can place important relationships and professional opportunities at risk, while remaining silent is often seen as the safer path. Over time, the line between loyalty and self-preservation can become increasingly blurred. This dynamic is driven not only by fear but also by careful calculation, creating an environment where honesty is constantly weighed against career security. And when silence becomes the least risky choice, one difficult question remains: can meaningful accountability ever truly exist?
Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And what did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this for me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid. Listen,
having a good time.
Usher is a procurer. And if Usher knew what was going to happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him. Especially considering that he sat Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp? And his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for you. Yours are just good enough to die in Lake Lanier with no real investigation. Got it? Like, these aren't good people!
All right, Jeff.
He's not good! He's a... And the simple fact that Justin Bieber literally made a public statement and said, Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned it down.
Run for the hills.
Why would he turn it down? Who turns down the Super Bowl?
Justin Bieber has never publicly accused Diddy of criminal misconduct. Nevertheless, his later comments about anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and the intense pressures of fame provide important context to a much broader conversation. He has spoken candidly about the challenges of reaching extraordinary success at a young age, growing up surrounded by adults whose priorities often differed from his own, and navigating relentless public attention without the level of guidance and support that many young artists need. Although his experiences do not establish or confirm any specific allegations, they challenge overly simple narratives and highlight the lasting effects of growing up too quickly in an environment where personal well-being did not always seem to come first.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's a superstar.
Superstar, right? So you're there and you see her and you see the way she's reacting to you. And I wonder what was going through your mind, because I've never had a chance to ask you that, because I know what was going through her mind because I've never had a chance to ask her that. And it's pretty clear in the video what's going through her mind. She can't even. What was going through your mind when you saw that kind of reaction? And also now in the knowledge that you were just coming out of that space yourself.
I wanted to protect the moment. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to get. You know, we never know how many opportunities we're going to get with anybody. I mean, I'm tearing up thinking about it, just with the Kobe situation, you know. You just never know. And so I just wanted to be a good example, you know. And,
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, you know, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, you know, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah, I just want to protect her. You know, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
This is not about drawing legal conclusions. It is about acknowledging the human impact. Harm does not always become visible through public accusations or one clearly defined incident. In many cases, it surfaces years later through emotional burdens, lost stability, or struggles that were never fully put into words. When constant pressure and unhealthy environments become woven into a larger system, the consequences can accumulate quietly over time without a single dramatic event marking the beginning. That leaves one difficult question. If the underlying problem lies within the system rather than one isolated incident, why do so many people wait for a formal accusation before recognizing that something may have gone seriously wrong?
Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters. He ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, I grew up with his parents. I knew his parents. He said, and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. The woman that they're saying is his mother was a prostitute, no whore. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, but that woman is his aunt.
Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers. Diddy's story is so convoluted, but nobody really likes talking about who he was before he became Puffy. Nobody, like, I would love if I could be granted an interview with him. To interview Diddy now in his most raw state about his life up until the age of 15 only. We got to learn how to stop making Diddies. What made him him? Now, his pedigree comes from rat background. His father was a rat, snitch, not revered. He turned on Frank Lucas, who was the king of Harlem. And yet, Diddy was able to, siphon off enough of that juice, just enough to get people, but he needed Gene. Think about this. Gene was more of a father figure to Diddy than he was a bodyguard. And Gene was more than a bodyguard, he was an investigator. So when they went separate ways, clearly he couldn't hold.
When Diddy's case entered federal court, the discussion moved beyond public speculation and into formal legal proceedings governed by evidence, courtroom procedures, and judicial rulings. The charges, court decisions, and appeals established the boundaries of what could responsibly be asserted while also drawing attention to broader questions that extend far beyond any single case. Courts are tasked with determining individual legal responsibility, not addressing the culture of an entire industry, leaving larger systemic issues unresolved. The broader lesson is difficult to ignore. What may be legally permissible is not always ethically acceptable, and the conclusion of a legal case does not automatically settle wider concerns. When the courtroom proceedings come to an end, one important question still remains. Does accountability stop there, or is that where the larger conversation truly begins?
Looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, is only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith, he's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy, that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you know, you got to realize he ran with that black that Rat Pack, and I don't want to even say their names because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner. What's the other guy? Leonardo. Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats, but I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there of other people too with him, and him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing, and I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy.
The intersection of 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber has become part of a much broader conversation about celebrity-driven systems where influence grows, vulnerability can be overlooked, and accountability too often arrives only after intense public scrutiny, if it arrives at all. Youth is frequently marketed as authenticity, exclusive access is presented as mentorship, and silence is often treated as professionalism, creating an environment where unhealthy power dynamics can gradually seem ordinary instead of alarming. This is not a story built on certainty or focused on one individual alone. It is a conversation about recurring patterns and the conditions that can allow similar situations to emerge across different generations. When the same structures continue producing many of the same concerns over time, one question becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. At what point does the system itself stop fading into the background and become the real issue?